Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. Before we dive into this powerful episode, please remember to subscribe to our channels and give us a 5-star rating on iTunes to continue hustling. This episode is sponsored by the Transact Card, Align Life, Brain-Based Health Solutions, Chiro HD, Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, German College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, Life Chiropractic College West, Pro Hockey Chiros, Pro Baseball Chiros, the IFCO, and 100% Chiropractic. Let's hustle.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 536 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. I'm your producer, Luke Millette, and here's your host, James Chester.
So today we had the opportunity of interviewing Dr. Ishi Rodriguez, and we talk about how to build the chiropractic story. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is another episode of the Chiro Hustle podcast. It's episode 536. Can you guys believe it? I can, because I've done every single one of these. And it's a passion project. I absolutely love what we do. And I have Ishi Rodriguez on with me today. We're going to talk all things chiropractic. But before we jump into this, we hope to inspire you. We're going to talk about your innate ability to heal. And hopefully we can create the relationship with you that he can be in your life as long as you choose to have a relationship with chiropractic. So, this episode, before we jump in, I just let everybody know our big why. Why do we do what we do? Well, number one, freedom of speech. The First Amendment, so important. We've never censored anyone on our show. We don't plan to. As we know that the past couple of years have been really challenging for people telling the truth about medical freedom and family health freedom. So we support that. We support medical freedom and family health freedom because censorship is real, shadow banning is real, and we've experienced it firsthand. So we'll never censor anyone on the show. Just have some clarity on that. After that, we do protect BJ Palmer Sacred Trust. If you want to know more about chiropractic than you ever knew before, go and find out what BJ Palmer Sacred Trust is. Go search for his last words. You're going to be indoctrinated with the reason why chiropractors are so proud of this profession. And then we do support subluxation-based chiropractic. I shouldn't have to say that, but we need these contextual chiropractic languaging. We need this in chiropractic schools. We don't need to remove it from the schools. It might be a historical context, but it's still the real and the reality of this profession. And then we do believe in innate intelligence and universal intelligence. We believe that when man or woman, the physical is adjusted, it connects them to man or woman, the spiritual. It just clears the subluxation. So with that being said, Ishi Rodriguez, welcome to the show.
Hello, James. How are you? Thank you so much for having me. It's a great opportunity.
Oh, thank you, man. And you're coming in from Puerto Rico today, right?
That's right. San Juan, Puerto Rico, the island of enchantment.
Yeah, you know, we were reminiscing a little bit. I've been down to Puerto Rico twice over the past couple of years and absolutely love where you're from.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, and it's getting more beautiful as the years go by. You know, the weather's great all year round. The people are amazing, and we got sun all year round. You know, so we got the vitamin D hitting us all the time, which makes a better mood, a better immune system. That's a great asset to have in this geography.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So 20 years as a chiropractor.
Yeah, 2003 graduated from Life University, and my life has been a wonderful, great adventure up to this point. We really, really enjoyed our time there in life, and I can't wait to tell you many stories of how the journey has been in our lifetime.
Yeah. So you're a second generation chiropractor. So you come from a chiropractic family.
Yeah, my father, Felix Rodriguez, he went to school in New York, chiropractic. He was going to go study medicine. He was going to become a medical doctor. And when he was in school, he tells me that at one point, a professor told him that there was two types of medicine. There was medicine for the rich people and medicine for the poor people. And when he heard that, of course, amongst other information that he was getting at that time, he became very disillusioned with the medical field, and he found chiropractic, completely changed his life. It was a crazy idea in those times, mid 70s. It was kind of clandestine in some states. So he decided to become a chiropractor, marry my mother, who's also like a chiropractor also, but without the degree. And we were born in our home. He basically was there during the births for the three of us, me and my two siblings. And we've been living the chiropractic lifestyle since day one, no vaccines. Our diet was really dialed in. We always were very skeptical of the traditional educational system. And I grew up in a very, very interesting environment and a very interesting perspective on the world. And it's been such a great blessing and also a great challenge, because it makes you question everything around you. Like, man, why is the world not like my family? And why doesn't the world completely accept the chiropractic principle and lives it at 100%? It's kind of challenging sometimes to understand that.
Mhm.
Yeah. And when it came time to choose my profession, I saw my father, saw his lifestyle. Patients loved him. He had a lot of free time to spend with us. And when it came the moment to decide what profession I was going to choose, I chose chiropractic. It was a very easy decision. It wasn't very sexy. It wasn't like a miracle story. It didn't change my life in a very radical way in an episode of something. It was just natural for me to organically move into that profession. Once I got into chiropractic 20 years ago in chiropractic school, that's when I fell in love with the philosophy and the power of the principle that we have and we share to the community. And from that day on, I just haven't stopped. It's been great.
How old were you when you decided that you were going to go and become a chiropractor?
I was about 17 years old. Yeah, 17. I was looking around. I couldn't find something more fun, more fulfilling, and more aligned with my philosophy, my innate philosophy, because I didn't understand intellectually in theory, what my philosophy was, but it makes so much sense. It's what I had to do with my life. Yeah.
How did you learn how to adjust?
Interestingly, my father never pushed me to become a chiropractor at all. He was like, "You do whatever you want," And I remember at my first MLS Making Love to the Spine seminar with Arno, that's when I did my first cervical adjustment, and it was amazing. I was there. Maybe there was like maybe 50 students learning to make love to the spine, Arno's way, connecting with the spine, visualizing the facets. And for some reason, I couldn't get over my feeling of inadequacy and imposter syndrome, and I just couldn't do it. And the seminar was like 3 days. At the end of the day, Arno said, "Raise your hand if you haven't been able to do an adjustment." And I, shyly raised my hand. Somebody like raised it for me. And I said, I couldn't get it done. And a doctor by the name of Sarnoff, he said, "I'm going to help you out." He laid me at the table, and all the crowd, all the people there, the staff and the students were all around me, seeing if I could do this one adjustment. And Arnold was coaching me, complete silence. I visualized it, connected with my power, and I just did it. It was like a great cavitation. Sarnoff was the patient at that time was smiling, every big roar around the room, and that was it. I kind of got over it from that point on. So respect and props to Arno for helping all those young students overcome that fear that was placed to us in school sometimes, or the educational system. Yeah.
So do you have any advice to the future chiropractors that might be listening to this that are in school right now, if it comes to them not being secure with their adjusting abilities?
Chiro means hands in Greek. Remember that. It's like it's in your DNA. If you're a chiropractor, you have to understand and be very skillful at using your hands. Instrumentation is great. We use a lot here in the office, but 5 years ago we had something called Maria, Category 5 hurricane, there was no electricity in Puerto Rico for months. I still had my hands and I could serve people. I could serve children. I could serve my family with confidence. And I was a very valuable asset to society and the community because I still had this and the skills that comes with it, you know? So whatever fear you have, whatever obstacles you have to dominate or developing the skills of using your hands for adjusting, you have to get over them. Find good mentors, talk to people. Even if you're resisting it, it's just a great asset to have in your life. You can intellectualize it however you want, but you have to learn how to use your hands. Like you can't graduate from school and not be able to adjust a spine without your hands. I mean, you just have to. Yeah.
Yeah. One of my all-time favorite musicians, his name is Ben Harper.
Oh, I
And
love Bert Harper.
he has a song called "With My Own Hands" or something like
Yeah, you
that.
can heal the world with your own two hands.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's true. So true. Yeah.
yeah. The power of chiropractic is amazing. Like they can turn the lights off, they can erase the internet, they can, you know, suppress the truth. But the one thing that will always stand the test of time is the training and the ability for a chiropractic adjustment. Like if they
Yeah.
took it, so here's the deal, man. If they took money away, you could still adjust people. If they took insurance away, you can still adjust people. If you meet people that don't speak the same language, you can still adjust people.
Yeah. If they cut your lights, if they put you in jail,
You can still
still
adjust
adjust
people.
people. Yeah, yes it
Yeah.
is. And the technology in the hand, you know, like the innate wisdom and this equipment, it's beyond anything you can buy, quantify, measure. It's just, you know, in 1 square centimeter of a finger, have thousands of pressure receptors. You know, that's just the tip of the finger. Imagine your whole hand, and that hand's connected to your whole nervous system, connected to this brain, to your intuition, to everything that you are, and you're connected with through your senses. It's mind-boggling. You know, it's uncanny. You can't even describe the power of this technology that you have in your hand for free. So
Yeah.
why not optimize it with experience, with passion?
My friend Keith Sung made a post last night. He says, not all heroes wear capes, but many times they use a lot of face paper.
So true. You gotta get it like in industrial cases. You gotta get so much.
You know,
Serve that many people.
it's a funny thing. I've thought about making my own face paper
Oh,
and
that'd be awesome.
and putting Chiro Hustle logos on it.
Yeah.
So everybody gets the face paper. They buy it from us. Everybody sees Chiro Hustle, and everybody gets our website. So
Yeah,
it's
that's
been
a good
something I've
one.
thought about. So let's talk practice building a little bit. You're in
Yeah.
Puerto Rico. What are some things that have worked for you over the past 20 years? What are some things that you did that you're like, I'll never do that again? Or like
Yeah.
what just tell us what's working today too.
Mistakes in the past, I would say just the fear of speaking your truth, the fear of being rejected, the fear of feeling like you're inadequate, especially next to other people who have uh, fancier, sexier credentials. I thought credentials were like a secret superpower that some people were entitled to and some were not. And the truth is, credentials have nothing to do with healing or capacity to serve and heal people. So that was a big obstacle in my mindset back in the day. So get over it, and the way you get over it is building confidence. And the way you build confidence is you have to find something that you're good at, and it's very highly reproducible. That you know it's like your go-to toolkit. You know, maybe you're great at adjusting cervicals. Maybe you're great at exams. Maybe whatever you think you're passionate and you're very skillful at, that's your anchor for that confidence. And you start from there and you start sharing that and you start practicing that. It's going to transfer into and it's going to extrapolate into other aspects of your practice. But that confidence is very, very important. And you build it with experience. Another also very, very important thing is what we were talking about also, like when you started the podcast, is the why of your being, the why of your existence. You have to dial that in all the time. And it's dynamic, You got to be working at it all the time. But like Viktor Frankl says, once the why is bigger, that it overcomes any how, any what. So your why is supreme. You got to have that big why. And then any other challenges that come up, you're always going to overcome them. I've had opportunities like to be on TV, 80,000, maybe a million people watching me on the television. I get nervous. And some people ask me, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you can be on TV or speaking to hundreds of people. I'm like, it's just my why. Like, I'm thinking, what happens if I don't do it? What are the consequences of that? People are going to suffer. People are going to die, because they don't get the message maybe. So I can't be a coward. I gotta step into my power. I gotta step into my why. And that just gives me the energy to do whatever is necessary, And it's a skill. You can develop it with time. Start with the why, overcome your fears, empathy, put yourself in the other people's shoes. 80% of people suffering from chronic disease, first causes of death are chronic diseases caused by lifestyle that we basically address with our lifestyle interventions with chiropractic. If you don't share your message, you're accomplice to that, because you do know the truth. You got to share it, So that's huge. Getting understanding the stats sometimes helps a lot. If you're very intellectual like I am, analytical, knowing the reality of stuff. The number 10th cause of death right now in the States is suicide. Like, we can help with that, So what are we doing? What are you doing? Are you posting? Are you sharing? Are you doing your work every day with communicating your message? And if you're not, then you got a great potential to grow more. Yeah. And I think if you do those things, start with the why, build your confidence systematically with very small increments, where you keep building and building, and you understand the consequences of your action. By default, you're going to be successful. It's like you cannot you can't be unsuccessful if you do that, because the wind behind your wings is a universal intelligence. It creates everything. It wants you to succeed. It wants you to help people. So you're just going to get there.
You've made it to Chiro Hustle. Sit back and learn from the greatest influencers in the profession on the world's #1 chiropractic podcast. This episode is sponsored by the Transact Card, Align Life, Brain-Based Health Solutions, Chiro HD, Imaging Services, Chiro Health USA, Chiro Moguls, Pure Chiro Notes, Titronics, German College of Chiropractic, New Patients in a Box, Life Chiropractic College West, Pro Hockey Chiros, Pro Baseball Chiros, the IFCO, and 100% Chiropractic. Let's hustle. A lot of people have watched our show or listened to our show or pay attention to what we're doing for the chiropractic profession, but a lot of people don't know that I actually worked in a clinic for 6 years. And I worked hand in hand with chiropractors, helping them with traction. I'm trained in chiropractic biophysics as a traction technician. So I worked in an office. And then
if you're looking for a part-time, we're actually hiring traction technicians and Alinea Health and Posture.
We would make the biggest practice in Puerto Rico, brother.
Oh yeah, by far.
And as I went through that, I went out and I did 600 spinal screenings in 36 months. I was doing 28 screenings a month, like for 2.5 straight years, 36 straight months. So when you talk about this why, and the other part of it, fear, there's an acronym for fear: false evidence appearing real.
Yep.
And a lot of times, my first mentor, Matthew Walker, he gave me my first job working in a chiropractic office 14 years ago.
Wow.
And he said, Jim, if you just get out of your own way, you could change the world. And I was so pissed at him. I was like, man, why is this guy like making me feel like a fool? Why is he making me feel like I don't care? Why is he making me feel like I'm not doing my best? But I was afraid. And he saw my fear greater than I would admit it.
Yeah.
That's why I've just always kept my head down as soon as I got the big idea with chiropractic. I said, you know what? There's something to this. We have to tell more people about this. We have to get this to more houses and more families and more campuses, and more kids need to know about this, and more doctors need to know about this. And we need to unify this profession rather than letting it be what it's become, is this ununified thing. So I was like,
Yeah,
if I can create something within my going into my power, like you say, if I could get my power back, I could make a profound impact on the future of this healing art, which is chiropractic.
yeah,
And that's why this show has done what it's done, because they have somebody that believes in the methods. And you know, if I can ever settle the score out there, I want to be the guy that goes on to Joe Rogan. And
yeah,
I want to be the guy that goes out and tells him why he should reconsider his ideas about this beautiful profession of chiropractic.
yeah, yeah.
And to see that we've been doing the things right for a long time, and maybe he had a bad experience. Okay.
100%, 100%. And I think it's going to happen. It's definitely going to happen. I mean, it's just common sense. It's just the way the universe is changing, you know? Um, yeah, it's just
He
inevitable.
the people that are decision makers in this world need to align for the future of humanity. And I think that that's why I jumped on board with chiropractic 14 years ago, because I saw it different. And then I learned something. I learned that there wasn't money in healthy people, and chiropractic made people healthy. And
Yeah,
that's why the big box medicine associations, they push chiropractic around and want to discredit it and put it out on the fringes and tell people not to trust it, that they hurt people. But really, they get adjusted too, man. Like the people
yeah,
that want to like see chiropractic like dissolved, like they get adjusted too.
yeah. All of them, all of them. I
It's
see them here all the time.
yeah.
You know, we have some lawyers that that are in the trenches, let's say, executives of hospitals, executives of insurance companies that are cutting benefits. They come, they get adjusted. It's like it's a zeitgeist. It's an energy that kind of takes possession of people's minds, and
Mm,
they're not even aware of it. We were talking about Napoleon Hill before, and in his book that I mentioned before, Outwitting the Devil, he says that 98% of people have been infested, with this evil energy, and only 2% of the population is is free and has 100% love and God in their presence in their life. And that's a big percentage. It's kind of impressive. First time I heard that. But when I look around, I'm not surprised. The majority of people are not getting adjusted. So there's something going on in our culture that we need to change, and we need to be proactive in. And it's been going on since the beginning of time. Uh, and it kind of pumps me up because we're the good guys in the movie.
yeah.
The good guys always win.
One of my other favorite musicians is Bob Marley, and
Yeah,
he one of my favorite quotes is his is says, "The bad guys don't take a day off, so why should I?"
there you go. It's
And
true.
here's the thing, man, to give everybody some hope and some inspiration, because that's what I know you wanted to do, is give people some inspiration today. Is 2% can win.
That's right.
2% can win, because
That's
the other
right.
98% have been bought and sold. And we have so much passion and control of our own emotion and our own motivations. 2% can win, guys. So
Yeah,
just know that 2% of a population is a lot of people.
it's the most powerful people. So we outweigh the rest of them easy.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I know that we're getting to the last 8 minutes or 10 minutes of our show, but I want to ask you a couple questions. Like, other than your father, who are some people that have inspired you to become the man you are today?
Well, my mother also. I have to admit, my mother and my wife. I've been thinking about this, and of course, the great BJs of our time. Arnaud, my father, Don Harrison, did just giants in chiropractic. Their legacy is gonna live forever.
Mm,
But my wife, she's the daughter of a pharmacist. So she comes from a very medical paradigm, and she kept our family tradition of having our two children at home, and to see her transition from somebody that used to take medication for certain diseases or medical conditions, for someone that was kind of skeptical with the chiropractic principle and the lifestyle, to see her transition to the point where she decided to bring light to the world, which was my children at home with me supporting her and adopting this philosophy at a such primal, deep spiritual level. It takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of openness and common sense also to go to something like that. So I would say that, and my mother, for being a warrior in the 80s, alongside my father, was very hardcore. It was very outspoken when it came to health and healing chiropractic. To have her hold it down for us at home, and staying true and staying on the path of the truth and the light through all the challenges, it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of spiritualism and audacity. And she's a wonderful woman, and my wife is a one as well. So they're great. They're heroes in my life for sure. And I always look to them for guidance and orientation when I'm losing my grip and things.
Well, here's the chiropractic truth. The body needs nothing extra in it. It simply needs no interference. Once a chiropractor checks, detects, and corrects vertebral subluxation and clears it, the body's a self-healing organism. And a lot of times we just need to go back to the principles. And a lot of times the women have the greatest innate. They say that women have the sixth sense, so that we do need that type of inclusion. And it sounds like your mother back in the 80s was protecting the sacred trust. And,
100%.
that's a big fundamental why about our show. So understanding that you come from a chiropractic family, understanding that you were born into chiropractic, it's a really special interview for me today. And to be able to share your story with our audience,
Awesome.
it's a real honor, and to be able to, know who you are, why you do what you do, and who you do it for. That's the most powerful type of introduction I could give to anybody to our audience and to our world. This is Ishi Rodriguez, chiropractor, San Juan, Puerto Rico. The man is a second generation chiropractor, inspired by many. And I'm really excited to have you on today, man.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your work and your inspiration and your consistency. You are the liaison, for us and the world. And I'm so grateful for you and your work and your team. So thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. And hopefully we'll keep this conversation going sometime in the future.
Absolutely. And before we close out today, I want to share people a miracle story. What's something you've seen in the past 20 years that you would like to share with our audience that might inspire them about chiropractic?
I would say I just mentioned it, that the birth of my two children, when I was there in that setting, and we had the candles and the Bob Marley in the background, and that environment of pure light, and that is just a manifestation. I think it's the ultimate manifestation of the principle, and to have those two children grow up still living that principle and seeing the world around us and how the contrast is so drastic, the way we live and the way the world is living, and the suffering that goes on because of the lack of awareness that this is possible and this is real and you can participate in it. I think to be a witness to that magic and that miracle of life through the hands in that moment, I think that's the greatest miracle, and then every day there's so many. I'm sure all your chiropractors say that, but it's so amazing. I had a patient of mine who died last month from pancreatic cancer, and maybe you would say, it's not a great miracle story, but the interesting thing is her husband was a chiropractor in Mexico, and she was married to this man for many years, and he passed away. And when she was my patient here in Puerto Rico. She's Mexican. And when she was going through her process of transitioning, she asked her family for me to go take care of her through this transition. And she told me she really needed me in her life at that moment. She needed a chiropractic. And I felt like it was her husband using me as an instrument to help her in her suffering in such a delicate time in her life. And it was so beautiful to be part of that and to be invited into her home and to see her transition in such a wonderful, peaceful way. And it's such a miracle. It's like it's the same coin, two sides of the same coin, the birth and the death. Is just a transition from one realm to another, and we as chiropractors are hoping to make that happen in the most beautiful, natural, respectful way that nature intended, and that is great. So I was part of that miracle, and definitely changed my life and impacted me a lot. And we're seeing that every day in our practices. Even if you're not aware of it. So your job is just to be aware and be the best tool you can as an instrument for that universal intelligence that is working through you, and that's your job. And that's and the more you do that, the more miracles you'll be witness to.
Well, thank you for sharing such, sensitive moments of birth and death. I tell everybody that chiropractic is from womb to tomb. It's from first breath to last breath, from cradle to grave. And this interview today is a direct testimony to that. So it's not just little catchphrases that I use to share with people about chiropractic giving years to your life and life to your years, but it's the truth. It's the reason that we do what we do and why we do it. So Dr. Ishi, I appreciate you being on this episode with me. You're 536 of the Chiro Hustle podcast. If people want to connect with you or if they want to reach out to you, where can we send them to?
The website is called Alinea Health, alinea.health. And there you can find all the socials on there. So Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and that's it. And you can also email me through there. There's an info email. You can send me a message. I would love to connect with anyone out there that wants to talk, wants to connect. I'm here to serve.
Thank you so much. And at this juncture, is there anything I didn't ask you that you were hoping to share with our audience today?
I think the point of integrity, being accountable, having skin in the game. I think as chiropractors, we need to be aware of that as well. Over 2,000 years ago, there was a emperor called Hammurabi. I don't know if you heard of Hammurabi's code. He wrote the first code of law in the world, and in one of basically the summary of this code that Hammurabi wrote is that you are responsible for your actions. He was very detailed in this example. He said, if you're an architect and you build a building and the building collapses and it kills the people inside the building, as an architect, you're responsible for that, and you need to. And basically, they do take out the architect, and so on and so forth. The point of this is whatever you're doing in your practice, I know it's a service, and you're creating a great service for people, but also be accountable for your results. Be obsessed with great results, because the more you do that, and the more you can embrace that and hold it in your power and be confident in that, the more you're going to grow and the more indestructible you become. Okay, so remember Hammurabi's code, read about it, try to own it, try to be part of that philosophy, and I know you'll be just a greater human being from it, and a greater chiropractor for our profession that really needs that in our ranks.
I love it. So if you guys want to know more about Dr. Ishi Rodriguez, go to alinea.health and check him out. Find him on all of the socials, as he mentioned. And I just want to thank you so much for being our guest today. It was an honor to be on with you. And next time in Puerto Rico, I'm going to come down and get some mofongo with you.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
All right.
You got it.
Well, I'm going to close out by telling everybody you're just one story away. Keep hustling. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye for now.
Take care.
Thanks for listening to Chiro Hustle. Don't forget to subscribe and check back next week to continue hustling.